Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Space Engineers as a German engineer. If you're new here, I'm Daniel. I've been born and raised in Germany, and I've been living and working as a software engineer in the San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley, for the last 10 or so years. Last time, we finally finished our elevator, our access elevator for our rocket silo that you can see right out here, if you look down here. So now we have an elevator that takes us from our base down into the rocket silo. That's amazing. Next step for our rocket silo is going to be to build a control room, and also in preparation for actually building the rocket, I want to build in a boarding walkway. What do they call them? You know, when they have like when they stack up these big rockets, they have these passageways that take the astronauts actually to the rocket from some kind of tower or something. So I want to have something like this in the rocket silo so that we can use that passageway to board the rocket. So let's go and check out what exactly I'm talking about in the actual rocket silo, and I'll give you some more kind of like ideas what I'm thinking and where I want to put stuff. So there's two main things I want to do. I want to have the access bridge to the rocket, and I want that somewhere high up. I don't want that to be very low at the bottom. We'll figure out exactly at which height in just a bit, but I wanted to have it relatively high up. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want to build a control room. And the control room, I don't necessarily want to have all the way up. I'm actually flexible where it is. I don't want it to be here at the very bottom, but I also don't want it to be... I think I don't want it to be at the very top. I'm actually not 100% sure where I want it. In terms of where we can actually put stuff, right? So we want obviously the other two rooms to be accessible by elevator. And so the elevator can only stop at specific increments. The way that it's built is basically it needs to complete one cycle. Let me quickly, like one piston cycle, right? So it'll, when it starts, this piston will go up and merge with this merge block, and then this piston will go up and merge with this piston merge block. And that's one cycle, right? Like when after each piston has moved once. So the elevator could stop basically at every one of these cycle increments. At any one of those. But it can only stop at those. So the way that we can do this here, we can just hit the up button and then the stop button, and it will stop at the next cycle. We can open this door here as well. See what's going on. So now the elevator stopped, right? So we could put another... stop at this level. So what I want to do actually, I want to go ahead and just put blocks here on every increment, just so that we know where we're at. And I guess we can use the elevator itself, or we can just measure and then put them down. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's weld these quickly up. Okay. So these are the possible stops that we have. And I think for the access, where we want the access bridge, I want it relatively high up. So it might be on this side, or it might be one lower. I'll just drill through this here quickly to see how high up we are. Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing about this. It seems reasonable on the one hand, but on the other hand, I also want enough space above this level to so the way that I'm imagining this, right, for the rocket is the rocket's going to be built here, obviously, and then at some level we have the access to the rocket, the access bridge, but then above that level I still want to have like a kind of like a rocket cone, and in that rocket cone I want to have like a cockpit, and so the access is actually should be at least one level below that, and so I want to make sure that there's enough space to build a rocket cone up here, including a cockpit, as well as to rocket not kind of like protrude out of the silo, to have the rocket not protrude out of the silo. I mean, I think this should give me this at the side. Yeah, I think this is probably fine. Okay. What is it? Shift P to copy the block? Yeah. And we may or may not remove this refinery here. So this here's good. I think I need to remove the refinery because I want to have a drawbridge kind of situation. I'll explain a little bit more like how I imagine this bridge to work. But and I need the space into this direction here. So this is gonna be one of our stops here. Let's let's paint this a little bit different so we can see it. Let's make it red. Okay. And then in terms of the control room, so what I want to have is I want to have glass panes or something on the level that has the control room, so that we can actually look into the rocket silo. So originally I thought I wanted it to be lower. Now thinking about it some more, I'm not 100% sure where I want it. Now I'm kind of like, do I want it to have it over here or over there maybe instead of on that side? So maybe like we'd have it here so that we could see the drawbridge coming from the side. Like that would be cool. So have it a little bit lower than the drawbridge, but on the other side. Or maybe have the drawbridge on that side. No, I think the drawbridge here makes sense. And the control room would be around the corner then. It would be quite a far way to walk, but I can probably build like a nice looking corridor or something. Okay, so if we want the control room to be one level down, it would put us right here, right? On this one. And then we'd Shift P to copy, yep. So we'd have like a corridor or pathway that takes us all the way around here. Obviously, I need to flesh this out and make this look better. So then have the control room here of some sorts. And then have glass panes here. Is there anything that I will break? No, I don't think so. Maybe make it even too high. Something like that, maybe larger. And that'll allow us to see the drawbridge here. And then maybe we'll have like the connector to actually like get material and battery and stuff like or the energy to the ship on this other side. Maybe even the same height as the drawbridge, so we'll see both of them connect to the ship. Something like that. Let's talk a little bit more about the drawbridge. Let's just make sure that we're in the center, because right now we're not. This is the center, right? So what I'm imagining with the drawbridge is actually, I want it to be not just a simple retracting bridge. I think I want it to fold to the side, right? So you have a bridge coming out here, and it can fold to the side out of the way of the rocket, so it's kind of tucked away. And then when you actually want to connect it, it folds over, comes over, and then provides like an access pathway to the rocket. I'm not entirely sure yet what the kind of material is that I want to build the bridge out of. Simple catwalk might work. Since the silo itself is kind of like has a roof on everything, it doesn't need to be close over. So like I think like it can be an open space. But the thing is, okay, when we're talking about being able to kind of like rotate it out of the way, like one immediately thinks rotor, right? And something like this, probably not exactly, but I think the problem with an approach like this is going to be, I mean, obviously the height offset here is not correct. We'll deal with that. But I think the problem is going to be that if we put a catwalk here just for demonstration purposes, something like this one. Okay, so with the rotor displacement, we can get the catwalk nice down, basically flat with the almost flat with that other block. But now I think the problem is going to be if we actually want to rotate this this rotor, there's no space for this catwalk to go, right? At least my understanding is that it will not be able to really rotate. Sorry. So if we... Oh, maybe I'm wrong. That actually doesn't look bad. I thought it would not work. So let's... this is like roughly 300 degrees. Let's do an upper limit of 300. Oh wait, that's the lower limit. Yeah, a little bit faster. Okay, and then so we can just reverse it, and then puts the drawbridge out to the side. Okay, I think this will work. I thought it wouldn't have to be more complex, but maybe not. Let's quickly see how far out it needs to come. I think this is where we would say the rocket would start here on this block. So it's only gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks really. Okay, let me put together this drawbridge here quickly, and then we can look at it, what it looks like. Okay, so I'm done with the access port. I built a little lobby in front of it as well as the kind of like drawbridge. So let's check it out. I'm 90% done with it. So one part that I'm not done with yet is actually have the elevator set up to be able to stop here, but we will walk through that in just a minute. Okay, this is the lobby that I put together. It's just a little space for people to hang out before they board the ship. There's a little bit of a bar and some equipment, some storage. And there's a little kind of entryway here. This button eventually, when you press it, will call the elevator. And I will have buttons like this on every level. I should set something up on this terminal here to display something nicer as well. And then I will set up a timer block that if you push this button here, that the door will open and close accordingly. So you can see that the drawbridge kind of moves to the side and gets out of the way. And then if you press it again, it comes back again. And I think ultimately I want to have an event block, right, that determines if the drawbridge is straight. When it's drawbridge is straight, this door then will automatically open. And yeah, this is where the rocket will be. So the one thing I do want to still set up, I want to set up these buttons here and make the elevator be able to stop. And I wanted to walk you guys through this because it's actually a little bit more challenging, I guess. Not challenging, but something interesting. I'll put the additional blocks all the way down here with the other timer blocks. It's going to be my big timer block wall. I've been thinking if I should just write a script for the elevator. It'll make things easier, frankly, in a lot of ways. It is also, though, we don't really need a script. We can make it work with timer blocks. So maybe that's just what we should do. So we need one for when the elevator arrives at the level. And then we need another one to call it to that level. And calling the elevator to that level is the same as this one here. So like, no, wait, sorry. Where are we? Here. So this is silo elevator lift start. And really what this should be called at this point is silo elevator call top, because it will go all the way to the top. It has a couple of settings here that only make sense when it's being called to the top. Actually, I'm wrong. There's only things that are relevant for when it goes up. Yeah, so I was wrong. I think we need a bunch more timer blocks. So we need one timer block here. Silo elevator on boarding arrive. And then this one is silo elevator call boarding. So then I need two more timer blocks, one for call bottom and one for call top. And I didn't need these before. The reason I didn't need this before is like starting the lift is the same thing as calling a top. If there's only a top and a bottom stop. This changes though if there are other stops, because we need to deactivate the stop mechanisms. So like if we're at the very bottom and we're calling the elevator all the way to the top, then we must not stop in the boarding area, right? And those changes we need to set up in their own timer blocks. So call top. Let's set that up first. Oh, actually, before we do that, we need to set up a sensor first for the boarding area. This is the top sensor here. We need the boarding area sensor. So right here would probably make sense. It's the same as the top or similar to the top. Stop sensor. Boarding door. Okay, the sensor needs to not detect players, but subgrids. How is it detecting a subgrid right now? How big is the box, I guess is the question. It's quite big, but what subgrid is it detecting? Oh, this one here. We don't need those anymore. We used them previously, but they're kind of useless at this point anyway. So this needs to be able to detect this when it comes from the top and when it comes from the bottom. I just need to limit it a little bit in this direction here. Is that the right direction? No, it's not. It's left from its perspective. Yeah. Top is 2.5 is enough, and bottom should also be 2.5. And then back is 0. And front should be 2.5 is enough. Okay, that should give me better. Yeah, that should work. And then when it triggers, I want the on arrive. Okay. We'll have no leave action here for now. Let's go down to the blocks again. So on call, on arrive. Let's look at the other on arrive quickly. Stop. Yeah, that makes sense. Lift start, toggle off. That also makes sense. We don't want to be able to call it to the one where it is. Well, that's not the one. Yeah, that's the... So we can't lift it higher. That makes sense here, but we don't need that on the boarding one, because we do want to be able to go up and down from there. And we open the doors. Okay, so we only need the stop and open doors for now. And when we call it for the boarding, we want to turn off the stop sensors. Well, the top and the bottom we also we always want to leave on, frankly. Right? It doesn't really make sense to turn these off. But the in-between sensors we want to toggle on and off. So if we call it to the boarding area, we want to turn that one on. Or if we call it to the bottom area, we want to turn that one off. And the same is true if we call it to the top. And when I call it to the top, I always want to trigger lift. And if I call it down, I always want to lower start. But when we call it to the boarding area, it depends on if it's on the top floor or not, or if it's above or below the boarding area. I think one way to do that, if it's at the very top, lift start is going to be off, and if it's at the very bottom, lower start is going to be off. So we can just trigger both, and it will use the right one. This will become more complicated, though, if we introduce a fourth stop. But I think we'll worry about that when we get there. So for now, I'm going to trigger both. Okay, so I think this might work. So let's see here. Where's the elevator? And I'll replace these here with bottom and top call. So if I press the down button now, it should go down all the way. I'm not sure I heard the sensor there up there, which may indicate a problem, but we'll see. So yeah, we successfully made it all the way down. That's perfect. Let me set up this button here quickly. Also, I'll change these to top and bottom, not up and down. Okay, so let's see if when I hit boarding, if it stops in the boarding area, then it needs to go up, and it needs to stop in the boarding area. So let's see. It's going up. That's good. It also closed the door, which is good as well. Okay. Perfect. Open the door a little early. I may have to reduce the sensor detection size a little bit. But it's perfect. So now, when I hit the top button, will we actually go up? Perfect. Nice. And now, let's see here. If I come down here, we need to add this to the close door one as well. Actually, let's see here. I think we can close doors. Set of actions. Yeah, we need to add the boarding area door. This one. Close. And let's see here. Let's change the terminal. We should now be able to press this and bring the elevator here. Can I do preserve aspect ratio on this so it doesn't look so weird? Oh, here it is. Perfect. Let's go back up again. And I think it closed the door this time. Nice. Let's go to the boarding area. Cool. I don't know what happens if I press this button now. I don't want to find out. Actually, that's something I do need to do. Let's go down again. When I arrive, I kind of need to disable the call boarding button. And I need to enable the other calls. Let's actually put these on a second toolbar, just so that they're more organized. Toggle block off. I need to do the opposite for the other ones. For the top and the bottom, we technically don't need them because we're gonna turn off the lift and the lower, but I'll still do it. I should probably turn off all the call buttons and turn them back on again when all of them except for the one when it arrives. Let me add another timer block. Okay, so now I can just... This is the arrive, right? Yeah. So there I still need to enable them all except for the one. So I'm just gonna add another one here that enables all the call buttons. And then on arrive, I will call that enable. And then turn off the boarding call again. I hope that works. I actually don't know if that works. Let me test that. Because if it doesn't work, then I need to figure out something else. So I'm not sure if the trigger now is executes everything in sequence of the block that it calls, that it triggers, before it goes to the next step, or if that is somehow delayed until the next game tick or something like that. So the way to test this is I'm just going to go to boarding. When I arrive, it should enable all the call buttons and then disable the call boarding button. So I should stop at the boarding area now, and then if I hit the boarding button again here, nothing should happen. If it doesn't work, then something will happen. I'm actually not exactly sure what exactly. It might go up or down, depending on details here, but, or might just break and fall to the death. That's actually not good. It's actually not good at all. Oh gosh. What did I do? Clearly disconnected. It's a wonder that it didn't crash. Okay, it clearly didn't work the way that I thought it would. Let's see here, the onboarding arrive. Okay, the trigger now might only execute at the next tick then. That's what that basically means. Toggle block on. Boarding arrive. Okay, yeah, I can just run this to test this. I can just trigger now. Yeah, turn it off and turn it back on again, which is wrong. Yeah. So this is not gonna work. So the enable call buttons, won't need this one. And instead I need to add these individually to these blocks here. So I'm just gonna do a second page here. And do the same on the other arrive. Top arrive. These blocks should be ordered, really, but they're not. And I don't want to have to grind them all down again. Bottom arrive. Okay. This should fix that. That should not happen again. Let's also put a call button down here on the other levels. Okay, add a call button here too on the top. Nice. One thing I still wanted to quickly do is change the dimensions of the sensor. Let me toggle it. It's off right now, so let me toggle it back on so we can see it. Let me also compare this quickly to this one. I think this one has a good timing. So it only goes half a block down. And it's not even in the middle. This one is in the middle. Okay, yeah, so basically I need to have just as little top and bottom extent as possible here. That should do it. That should make it better. Yeah, and I need to turn it off again. Okay, so next order of business is going to be the control room. And I think I want to start with building the elevator stop this time. The main reason being that the elevator stop is going to be a little bit more challenging than it was for the boarding room, since we need to now figure out the fourth stop, and the fourth stop is going to be a little bit more complicated than the third stop. On the third stop, we just trigger both the lift and lower actions, and depending on if we're at the top or the bottom, one of them is going to be disabled. That's not going to work anymore once we have two more stops. At least not the exact same way. I have an idea how we might be able to get it done. So first of all, the control room we said is going to be here on this level. So let's build this out a little bit, and then I'll get the sensor in place and get the stop working. We're going to move the stuff back. But first of all, let's get the elevator down here. Let's go to boarding. Yeah, that opened better. And now we're gonna go down and gonna hit stop immediately. So we should stop right here. There you go, perfect. We'll have blocks here again, and we'll have a door here. Let's put these blocks up a little bit. And that means we can put a sensor right there. And then this sensor will not detect players, but upgrades. And I'm gonna see it on my HUD. And we're gonna do left extent, it's gonna be 2.5 meters. Right extent, it's gonna be 0, 1. Bottom extent, it's gonna be 0, 1. And top extent, 0, 1. Make it as flat as possible again. Back extent, 0, 1. And then front extent, 2.5. And we're also just gonna put a timer blocks all the way down here. And we'll need an arrive and a call. Okay, and then we need to set up the actions on arrive. Let's see, what do we do here again? Yeah, we toggle these call blocks, which we also need to add the other one then too. And then we stop lift start that we don't need to do for now. We'll need to talk about this. And then open the doors. Okay, so stop. The other door I haven't placed yet, so I can't open it. And then lift start, toggle block off. We don't need to do this. Toggle block on, toggle block on, toggle block off. These are the call blocks. And then call. We need to disable all the call buttons. What else do we need to do? Lower start. Or upper start, depending on where it needs to go. And then we need to turn off the in-between stop sensors that are not this one, right? So the boarding sensor. And the control room stop sensor needs to be on. Let's talk about that. When we call the elevator to the top floor, it doesn't matter where we are, except for if we're on the top floor, obviously. It always needs to go up. The same is true for the bottom floor, but in reverse, obviously, so it always needs to go down. When we had 3 stops, the middle stop, the boarding room stop, would always be down if the elevator is at the top floor, and would always be up if the elevator is in the bottom floor. And since the bottom and the top floor already disabled these lift start and lower start, disabled them to prevent them from going higher when they're already at the top or lower when they're already at the bottom, I could just trigger both of them because one of them would always be off to get the elevator to go the right direction. Now, we can still do this for the boarding room and the control room when the elevator is either at the top or the bottom. But we can't do it anymore when the elevator is in the control room or the boarding room itself. Right? If the elevator is in the control room and you call it to the boarding room, it needs to go up. But if it's the other way around, if the elevator is in the boarding room and you call it to the control room, it needs to go down. So it depends on where the elevator currently is. Thought I had an idea, but I don't think actually that will work. The idea that I had was to just disable the lift when we are in the boarding room and disable the lower when we're in the control room, and basically trigger both actions again from each of them being called, so that we're in the control room and we call it to the boarding room, it would go up, and the other way around. So, but then obviously that would break calling it to the bottom if you're in the control room. But I thought then, oh, we can just enable it, enable the lowering action when you hit the call button. The risk with that is that I'm afraid it will open up the possibility of you lowering it down. Oh no, actually that should work. Because now we're not using the lift start, lower start anymore directly from the buttons. We're using the call buttons, and they are still getting disabled. Okay, so you're in the call button, call button. We need to enable the lower start. Calling button. We're calling top. So now, when we are arriving on the boarding area, we should also toggle on call control room. And then we need to disable the lift. Where does this get re-enabled though? I guess we just lower start, toggle block off, on. So when we call to the control room, we'll just do both. And when we call to the boarding room, we need to turn off the control room stop sensor. We also need to disable the call buttons up here. We do that. And we need, on the control room arrive, we need to invert these turn-offs, right? Because the control room is under the boarding room, so if we trigger both, we want it to go up. And this one we want to be off. If we hit the go down button, it will explicitly get turned on. What else? We still need to add call buttons, I think, to the arrives. Yeah, the control room, call control room needs to be turned on. Bottom arrive, turn on. This might do it. What could possibly go wrong, huh? Let's give it a shot. Let's bring it all the way to the bottom first. That's not working. That's great. Maybe we'll bring it all the way to the top. That's not working. Okay. Let's see why it's not working. The call buttons are probably off. Yeah, it's at the call buttons here. Let's trigger this one. Okay. Now it should work. Let's go to the boarding area. That's not working. Well, great. Boarding is off. Control room is on. All the other ones are off as well. On top arrive. Should have turned these on, right? Call bottom. Top. Control room on. On top arrive trigger now. On top arrive. Stop. Lift start, toggle off. Open the doors. Let's okay. Did it not get triggered for whatever reason? I'm not sure. I should have. Okay, let's go to boarding room now. It's still not working. Did pressing the call boarding room button break it? Possibly. Possibly. On top arrive. So this is fine. Let's did the right thing. Let's trigger it. Actually, no, let's on boarding call. Lift start is off. Lower start should be on. We should check that. Style elevator disable call buttons. Stop sensor for control room off. Okay, disable the call buttons here. That's fine. I think the the lift start and lower start, they're both off. I think we need to turn on the lower start when we arrive. Right now we only... I don't even know if we ever turn it on. Bottom arrive needs to turn on the lift start. And then on bottom arrive, on top arrive, the lower start. Yeah. Okay. That should do it. Let's arrive on the top again. Trigger now. And let's give this another shot. Okay. Boarding room. Yes. This time worked. Okay. So now I want to see, can I go up again? Yes. Very good. Perfect. Let's go to the boarding room again. Can I go to the bottom? Yes, it's going the right direction. I'm actually not sure if I configured the sensors to be turned on and off correctly. But it appears to be the case, otherwise I would have stopped there. Oops. No, let me in! Okay. Do not recommend doing this. Okay, we're at the bottom. Perfect. So now, let's replace this button. Numpad 4. Okay, they're a little bit out of order, but whatever. I need to also fix the... Yeah, not stop, but call control room. Let's give this a shot. We're going up, that's good. I think we just went past the control room. Okay, which probably is due to what I just mentioned before, that I don't think I've actually set up the sensor to be turned on. Wait, it is on. Oh, it doesn't stop anything, though. On control room arrive. It's going to be advanced test, because it needs to be able to pass by the boarding room now. It did pass by. Aha! Nice. Will it go to the boarding room if I hit boarding room? Will it go up? Yes! Perfect. And now, if I hit control room, will it go down again? This is perfect. That's awesome, that's perfect. Then let me kind of like fill this in a little bit. I'll build a little corridor here. And then get back to you guys before I start the work on the actual control room. Okay, I finished the corridor. Let's check it out. Here we go. It's like I tried to have like a kind of moody lighting in here. With these kind of corner lights on the bottom, kind of lighting up the walls a little bit. And used heat vents as the main lighting over top. You can simply, what you can do is you can reduce the power dependency to 0%, and then they just light up like normal lights. You have some background lighting back here behind these windows. A little bit of a little bit dynamic for the scene with the rotating light. And here, this will be the control room. That is up next. Hope you guys like it. I think it looks pretty cool. Use the steel beams here for some kind of structure and stuff. Different colors on the top and bottom. Use some interior wall blocks on the floor for the have some pattern in the floor. Yeah. Okay, let's build the control room next. So I think what I want to do with the control room is... Man, it's dark in here. I want to have a big window here. But I do also, at the same time, I think I want to have blast doors or something. Not blast doors, what are they called here? The hangar doors. That I can lower in front of the window for the actual takeoff and landing, right? Like there's like these big engines that blast incredible amounts of heat and light out, and you don't want to have like a window open while this rocket ship kind of flies past here. So you want to be able to lower these hangar doors in front of the glass when the actual rocket ship takes off. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking. Then outside of that, I want to have a bunch of pults and kind of control stations and stuff like that. Maybe some office desks. I do want to be able to actually control the entire rocket silo from this control room. So I want to be able to open and close it. I want to be able to retract and extend the bridge, connect and disconnect the ship, all that kind of good stuff, right? And whatever else we still need to figure out for the ship. So there's going to be a bunch of buttons and stuff in here. Other than that, I think I just want to make it look nice. I want to have the glass window here with the hangar doors. What else? I think that's it. I'd say let's get started. I am out of small steel tubes. Curious. Small tubes 0. Target of 1,000. I'm building girders, but it doesn't seem to actually... I wonder if it's stuck again here. Okay. Got stuck on those medical components again. Yeah. I'm trying to build 5. Maybe I should just... let me just remove those for now. Until I have... I guess I'm missing silver or something. Right? Silver... I guess the 13 are not enough. I'm also out of magnesium, it appears. Which may or may not be a problem. Inventory, dashboard, programmable block, medical. And then let's use some small tubes manually. Once we actually revisit the inventory dashboard script, especially like how we queue the items, that shouldn't be a problem anymore. We should be able to fix that. Oh, and if you're interested in exploring this world here for yourself, like kind of explore the rocket silo, the different builds, the the elevator access shaft, as well as kind of the 3D printer and all of that amazing stuff that I have in this world, you can join my Patreon on any tier to get access to the monthly world download. So I upload I package my world into a zip file and upload it once a month, and you can go and download that and then kind of explore the world all for yourself. Kind of check it out, especially like with some of the more complicated builds, like the 3D printer and the elevator that have like tons and tons of timer blocks. Having access to the world download is going to make it significantly easier to kind of look at that and get an idea of how that works. I know it's really hard to follow sometimes in the videos, so check that out if you're interested. Let's grab these small steel tubes and finish this here up. Okay, so I think we're good here. This is the control room. I've tried to make the lighting a little bit more dramatic. I like the lightly cold blue. There's a bunch of panels and stuff here that will need to get hooked up to information about the rocket once the rocket exists. For example, like its cargo state and stuff like that. Some of them will also show information about the base, obviously, but yeah. We've set up 2 buttons here already. One is for the silo. This will actually close the silo doors. You can't see the silo doors from here. But you can see that it closes because the shadow of the door will take over. Boom. Closed. You can see the little walk bridge over here. I guess I could also hook up a button to retract that. Let's do that quickly here. I like the sci-fi control panels because you can actually set text on them. Let's see here. Silo dropper rotor. Yeah, that's right. So reverse this one. Set. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Here we go. Nice. And then the blast doors. So that when the rocket takes off, like, we can protect the space here from the power of the engines. And I think the rest is purely decorative. Oh, for the neats that the control staff can use the bathroom. I used the same kind of like bottom lighting again. And what I did here, by the way, is I actually reduced the intensity and set the offset to 0. That creates like these dramatic looking shadows on these sci-fi interior walls. That they have like these recessions. Recessions, is that the right word? It goes in like a recessed area, and that causes like these shadows. And it looks pretty cool. That is the control room. I don't know if you guys can tell, but like this is very messed up here, and the elevator is not moving. And almost certainly because I accidentally connected one of these blocks to the elevator. It's probably the door, right? Wait, but that's not... Because I thought I moved the elevator since I put down the door. It's this block here. I can tell. When I'm touching this block, I'm starting to kind of freak out. And you can also see it's... there's a lip. Oh yeah, and I still need a call button here, right? Let's get it back. Let's go. There we go. We have successfully built the boarding walkway and the control room today. And I'm super excited because I'm pretty sure next time we're finally gonna start work on the rocket. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It greatly helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe. I upload Space Engineers videos every week, and there's lots of other stuff to explore on the channel. And if you know somebody who you think might enjoy this video too, please share it with them. It's the best way to help the channel grow. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel financially, please check out my Patreon, link in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.